are Locked On Eagles Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win! They get a win over the Cleveland Browns. It maybe wasn't as pretty as we thought it was going to be. We'll break it all down. This is the Locked On Eagles Postcast. Jason Myrtetus, Harry Mays. And thanks for making Locked On your Eagles Postcast your first listen. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And a lot to get into in this game, Harry. But let's get your initial thoughts as we begin the postcast.
Well, my initial thoughts are that I was uninspired by this win. I really was. I know a win is a win in the NFL. I get that. And the Cleveland Browns are a bad football team.
They stink.
They're a bad football team with a coach that's going to get fired because they constantly shoot themselves in the foot with penalties at ill times. And, they're constantly in third and long. The quarterback's making a ton of money and he stinks. They're scared to throw the football down the field. They're just awful, okay? You should have pounded this team today.
Yeah.
I mean, this should have been a 10 to 14 point win. And I'm left saying, okay, they won the game and that's good, but I'm empty with this win. That's how I feel.
Yeah, uninspired is a great word because this game, to use a Mikey Miss term, should have been a rocking chair ride.
It should
in
have
the second half. It absolutely. I mean, this Cleveland team stinks on third down.
They stink.
They do. And I'm so glad Deshaun Watson is not an Eagle, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I screwed up on that. I will take my
all hype, no substance.
Because I said years ago that if the Eagles should have been in the market for him. Well, he blows. Okay?
Yeah, he stinks.
I screwed up on that one. All right.
Yeah. Well, look, the Eagles quarterback did something that he hasn't done a lot of in the last couple of years. Protect the ball.
Yeah, he held on to the ball today. So no turnovers. So it was a good game out of him. Because that's really the primary thing that has been messing with him is his propensity to turn the ball over, whether it's fumbling or throwing bad interceptions. But he didn't do that today. So that's a positive step. And I saw something else was a positive step. They lost Goddard early in this football game.
Yeah.
And found a way to get a guy named Calcaterra involved in the offense with a couple of plays. So that's I'm optimistic about that, okay, with the offensive play calling, finding a way to get a reserve player involved in some big plays. That's a good thing. The other one was the scoring play to Devonte Smith was
awesome play.
Genius. It was genius.
Cross.
They noticed that Ward was not in the game, who's their best defensive back, and they ran a crossing route and basically picked off. I think it was Jake Stoll was running the cross the other way and just got in the way. He didn't touch him because it would have been a penalty.
Yeah, but he impeded the path.
Exactly, and it was a great design, and it was executed perfectly, and Devonte Smith made a great play. So those are two optimistic things that I saw. Maybe they designed that over the bye time. I don't know, but it takes so long for this team to get involved, man. They just look awful in the first quarter, and you're like, what have you been doing for 2 weeks? Waiting for this game. Like they just look flat. There's no other way to describe it. They haven't scored a point, Jason, in the first quarter in any game this year. That's 5 games.
Yeah,
not even a field goal.
That's an Eagles record, by the way.
Unbelievable.
That they've opened up a season, first 5 games, and haven't scored a first quarter point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for ways to judge a coaching staff or a coach's ability to prepare his team, in football, there's no better way than the first quarter, because that's the scripted stuff. That's the stuff you worked on in practice, and you almost don't even need to huddle.
Right.
Because you're going to run.
Right, and I don't know if it's like Andy Reid, with the first 15
he was rigid,
plays and all that, that stuff. But it's still, you'd think like, all right, we're looking to get this going in offense. It's like, why would you wait until the third or fourth quarter to do what you've been cooking up to do? You're going to do it right away, you would think.
Yeah.
And they just look flat. I mean, the first drive is a 3 and out. I'm like, are you serious? And, And the other stat that I thought was amazing, Kenny Albert, by the way, congratulations to him with the milestone broadcast today.
500 games.
There's fewer better guys in the business than him. I know you might not think he's a dazzling play-by-play guy, but he's one of the best guys in the business. You and I both know that personally. So I wanted to say that. But he rolled out a stat that the Eagles defense had only forced 2 3-and-outs in the first 4 football games. I found that staggering as a statistic.
I did too. You know why? Because they've done a good job of not giving up points.
Right.
Even on short fields when, Hurts was throwing an interception or fumbled it, they didn't. But to not have those 3-and-outs, they give up some first downs, but they haven't given up points, especially in first halves of the first 4 games.
Yeah.
It's amazing because those scripted plays in the beginning of a game and just, knowing how you're going to you've had an entire week to determine how you're going to attack a team. And everybody knows that playing from in front in any sport is so much better than playing from behind. It opens up a ton of things.
Yeah.
And I just don't even, when you go 5 weeks in the NFL and they've played some teams that aren't so good and you don't have a first quarter point.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know what to make of that.
It's pretty bizarre, really. Maybe it's just a crazy stat. I know they kicked the field goal within like a minute of the second quarter, that kind of thing. I'm not.
It's not an anomaly, Harry. It's an issue.
I'm not getting crazy about it, but it is weird. It's very weird.
It's not nothing. It is an issue. I just don't know how big of an issue it is.
Right. I mean, they're 3-2. Let's not lose sight of that. The other thing, and this is, I love Saquon Barkley. Okay.
Yep.
And when he's not trying to get, a membership to a private golf club in the Philadelphia area, he's playing football. Because all I hear about is Saquon Barkley was trying to get in here. Did you know that? But anyway, that's another story. His focus is a little off. And we talked about the fact that, him dropping that pass a few weeks ago was the reason, they lost the football game. Okay. Well, there was another situation. Now, it ended up not being anything because they won the game. But if they had lost this game, I'm going back to the fact that they had a great drive stalled at the end of the first half. There's a 2nd and 1 play and a swing pass to Saquon Barkley, and he chose to just run out of bounds. And not only did he run out of bounds, he didn't get the 1 yard that he needed to get the first down. He just went. I don't know if it was a business decision or what it was. But the Saquon Barkley that I thought I was getting would have turned that upfield and taken that defensive back and stuck him right in the chin and gotten the first down and maybe more, okay? Then they have a 3rd and 1 because he didn't gain a foot, and he misses a block on the player that eventually sacks the quarterback a half a second later.
Yeah.
Okay? Then they end up having to kick
That's between the ears, Harry.
Which gets blocked and returned for the touchdown. Now, to me, that's all on Saquon Barkley.
It's a great point.
Too hard here?
No, because it's the details.
Yes.
The first one you mentioned where he steps out of bounds with the 2nd and 1, I don't think he knew where the first down marker was.
Well, that's another thing. I mean,
that's the mental game.
I don't know what was at work there. It is.
His head was on the golf course, Harry, is what it was.
I don't know, man. He's trying to get in here. He's trying to get in there.
Well, here's the thing, too.
They won.
They did. So it's mitigated. It won't be an enormous talking point.
Right.
I saw Jimmy Kempski tweet this out during the game. Boy, the Eagles are stepping out of bounds before contact a lot in this game from a team that tackles horribly in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cut that upfield, make them have to tackle you. If they're not a good tackling team, why are we making all these business decisions to save our bodies a little bit when there's yards to be had?
Yeah, and I know, he's a very valuable piece, and you want him to be able to play in December and January. I get all that, but
the second one's a big one.
Yeah, 2nd and 1, go get the yard, will you? At the least before you go out of bounds. I thought that was a real head-scratching play.
Well, it's out of character too.
It is. It is.
That's the thing.
And and Rodney McLeod made the return and got the touchdown, and so and that really, all of a sudden you're like, man, it's 10-10. Like they're dominating this team. Like they can't do anything on 3rd down. Their offense stinks, and all of a sudden they get this crazy touchdown. The game's 10-10 instead of 13-3 or more. If he gets the first down, maybe they score a touchdown. So that was a big point in the game.
Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns are just shooting themselves. I mean, everybody's got a weapon, and they're shooting their own foot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the amount of
like
false starts.
Burris at a club. Yeah.
Yeah, when he took his leg off.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that at your golf club, Harry? Saquon's not trying to get in there.
No, he's not. He's played there, but he's not trying to get in there.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
This team, Cleveland wanted to hand you the game 1,000 times, and the Eagles were kind of like, we're not ready to take it just yet.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it, make you stick. We want the fans to stay to the end so we sell the most amount of beer possible.
But isn't it funny, though? I'm watching this first half, and I'm like, until the crazy blocked kick, that was a boring football game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It was a snoozer. And I'm texting people that are at the game. They're like, yeah, this blows, right? And all of a sudden, though, in the fourth quarter, these games get nuts. And you're like, this is a typical NFL. It's a snooze fest for 3 quarters on the 1 o'clock games. But then the witching hour comes up, according to our guy Hansen over at the NFL Network on the Red Zone. And the game turns crazy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is great.
Yeah, it goes bananas all of a sudden.
It's crazy.
I forget which game it might have been week 2. We're like, oh my God, this game is awful.
Horrifying.
I'm getting dumber watching it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the second half goes bananas.
Yeah.
That was the Kirk Cousins game.
Yep. Right.
where Barkley dropped the pass. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith and the difference that they made for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was substantial. We'll be back right after this on Locked On Eagles Postcast. All right, guys. It's football season, but you still got to have some intimacy in your life. You got to have those spontaneous, intimate moments, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Wanting to and being able to perform, maybe for some people are two different things. Him provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence you need to be ready whenever the mood strikes. Maybe it's not even your mood. Maybe it's your partner's mood. Your sex life is important, but your schedule is busy, and you don't have the time to go to the doctor's office to get treated for ED. Well, through HIMS, you can get personalized ED treatment without stepping foot outside of your house. You feel the need to get a little boost in the bedroom? Well, it's time to stop worrying about your performance and get HIMS so you can feel confident knowing you can get the job done. HIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your own couch, and it also provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints, Viagra, Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. That is a great deal. There's 100% online, so there's no need for those uncomfortable doctor visits. Here's what you do. You got to go start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON. That's hims.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. And the products that are mentioned, chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions do require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if they're appropriate for you. Restrictions apply. See the website for all the details and important safety information.
You seemed a little flustered reading that commercial there.
That's not something I usually identify with, Harry. I don't have a problem in that regard because I can't get to the bedroom.
I'm trying to think about it. What is this? Is this because hockey season is back, or is he just really flustered by the content?
I'm definitely not flustered by the content. But what I was flustered by was the return of A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith. Look, we saw a lot less Saquon today.
Yeah.
We just talked about some of the mistakes he made, but they didn't have to rely on him today because when you get the monster A.J. Brown is back and the dynamic playmaking of Devonte Smith back, boy, that'll help a quarterback out.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they miss A.J. Brown, while he was gone. He changes the way teams defend this squad. There's no doubt about it. He demands, double coverage. He demands, physicality on the opposing defense. You got to be physical with him or he'll just dominate. He had 9 targets today. So they did, they got him involved early and they got him involved often. He made 6 catches for 116. And I missed the one at the end of the game because my YouTube TV went down for the first time since you installed it for me. but I missed that. So take us through that play, because we know he had the scoring play in the first half, which was a really nice throw. He had one-on-one coverage, and he's just so hard
so strong
to handle. Yeah, in the corner of the end zone. But take us through that last one.
So the last one, they just gotten a first down, and on first down, they decide to put it up. Yeah. I was stunned. Cleveland, had they just used their timeouts right, could have got the ball back with very little time on it. I thought for sure they're going to run it. But first down, they got Hurts in the shotgun, and they go down the left side to A.J. Brown for a 19-yard catch. Yeah. Gets down to about the 12-yard line, and that's game right there. They can just kneel it out.
They just start taking knees,
But the way, Harry, on that play, he's catching it over his right shoulder, and he's got to just slow down just a bit because it's slightly underthrown. But he catches it like he was catching a baby. Yeah. Boom. And when he gets it in his hands are so strong.
Oh, yeah.
It's not coming out.
No.
Yeah, it's not coming out. No. Getting him back and involved a lot like that because of the way he is between the ears, I think is huge.
Oh, it is huge. Yeah. The only other guy right now in the NFL that I think is sort of plays the similar way is Metcalf for Seattle.
DJ Metcalf.
As them. And they're similar hand. They're very strong guys. Like you said, once they get the ball, nobody's taking it away. But so that was huge. I mean, 6 catches, 116 yards, a touchdown on 9 targets. And Devonte, I know you want to get to him. We talked about the scoring play. I was thinking that they were going to target him a little bit more. He only had 4 targets in the game. Yeah. Now, he made 3 catches, and, of course, the big touchdown that we described, which was a great play design and great execution. But I thought they'd get him involved more, especially with Goddard going out early in the game.
Yeah, you thought maybe they would feature him, try to get him into space like they did on the touchdown, frankly.
Yeah.
They just weren't unable to. I thought Cleveland actually defended the Eagles pretty well, their secondary in particular, with the exception of A.J. Brown. That catch that A.J. Brown had was actually a 40-yard catch. I missaid 19.
40. Okay.
Yeah, it was a 40-yard catch. But, I thought that they probably could have gotten Smith more, but they spread the ball around. Dotson had a big catch. You mentioned Calcaterra. Ends up with 4 catches. So when you spread it around, Saquon had 2 catches. When you spread it around, you only have so many plays.
Right.
But I thought A.J. Brown on the outside and maybe Devonte moving around in space in the middle, in the inside of the field would have been probably something they did more. But they just didn't seem to want to. They still ran the ball a good amount of times. I mean, Saquon had 18 carries and Gainwell had a big one and only 3 carries, but had a big one off the left side for a first down. So. You know who was really good in the game, too?
You're going to go with the Rook?
No, they mentioned him, Lane Johnson.
Oh, okay, yeah.
28 plays, not a single hurry.
Yeah, nice to have him back, too.
Oh, he's a monster. Harry.
Now, it looked like they lost Jordan Mailata in the later stages of that game. That's something to keep an eye on because I know, what's his name, Johnson has come in there, and he's done a nice job in relief duty, but that's something to keep your eye on. And they lost Darius Slay, too, during the game. So, injuries.
Frankly, he annoys me, but anyway.
Why does he annoy you?
All the stuff off the field.
Oh, you're talking about like social media and stuff like that?
Yeah, just enough. His wife, the whole thing.
Yeah, well, all right. Well,
it's exhausting.
Speaking of being annoyed, you sent me this tweet by John Clark, our buddy John Clark, with the shaving of the head of the football coach off the bye week.
Yeah. This guy thinks he's a player.
What is going on with this dude?
He thinks he's a player, Harry. There's no other way to put it. Players, when things aren't going well in sports, they're weird. They do weird things, you know. We're not playing well. Let's everybody bond together by shaving our head, you know.
Why didn't you just do a mohawk? You really want to go there? Do a mohawk.
Yeah. He thinks he's a linebacker, right? Yeah,
don't shave your head. Give me a mohawk.
Yeah, go full mohawk with a mullet tail or something. No, but he shaves his head like he just... it just all feels so phony to me.
I know.
His whole presence.
It's just like with the T-shirts a couple years ago when you wear them every media availability and stuff. And reading the comments from Eagle fans,
Yeah.
He annoys the crap out of them, too.
Oh, he does.
He really does.
Because we can smell a phony in this town from a mile away. You know what I mean? And you just know he's just like placating everybody and pandering.
I know.
And Ben, I got to tell you, Harry, players in sports, they know it too.
Yeah,
they know it's not authentic. Yeah, they know.
Well, I've heard
it's part of the problem.
I've heard players though. In fact, a guy that everybody seems to love, Kelsey, talk about him now that he's retired, about how great he is. In these meetings and with the team when nobody else is around. Like he's still speaking very highly of him. So
Yeah,
I don't really.
I
know
don't
what
think
to make.
Kelsey's removed enough yet, Harry, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
When players first retire, it takes a 3-year window, 3 to 5 years for them to actually start being honest.
Okay.
Because they run out of guys that they played with or they got coached by. They don't want to offend anybody. Players are still in that mode of, we don't talk about any of that stuff publicly.
Okay.
We just give you sunshine and roses, and it's baloney.
Well, I saw him on top of a motorhome today.
Saw that.
I think it was today down at a tailgate.
Yeah.
And the cameraman that was up there filming him for some
Almost
odd
took
reason.
a header.
Oh, he fell through the roof of the motorhome. He's like, he put his foot through the roof.
And
lost
the camera went flying.
He
Yeah.
lost the camera. I mean, that camera could have landed on somebody and seriously injured him.
Yeah,
Those things
and that
weigh a
camera
ton.
probably cost $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just crazy. But of course, Kelsey's on the roof of an RV with a microphone in his hand,
Shotgunning a beer.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Can we just can you take a trip to Hawaii for a couple weeks?
Yeah. Can't they put him up in Connecticut at ESPN for Sunday too?
He wasn't very good, Harry. So
No?
maybe they're not going to bring him up there to Bristol.
Maybe not. No.
When we come back, let's look at Hurts' numbers on the game, and we got to talk about another guy, Cooper. Will you say Coop?
Will you say Coop?
Yes. Here's Harry to tell you about Prize Picks.
Yes, Jason, Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions, and we love those, into real money all season long right at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings start to roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. How many? 4. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks invented the flex play, too, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select players' projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's the code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
All right, more congratulations. We know it was Kenny Albert's 500th game, NFL game called. The guy's probably called 5,000 games between all the sports he does.
Oh, yeah, hockey, everything. Yeah,
oh, my goodness.
Baseball, he does it all.
Yeah, but Brandon Graham set an Eagle franchise record today, Harry. 200 starts, 200 games as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. 15-year career, he's in his 15th year. 200 football games. That's incredible.
That's impressive. Yeah, that really is. And he had a big tackle for loss, too, on a 3rd and 1. I thought it was a ridiculous play call, and so did the color analyst, too, and he's right. It's kind of
Vilma.
Vilma. It's kind of typical Browns, really. 3rd and 1, they run some stupid play, but Brandon Graham was basically unblocked and made the play behind the line of scrimmage, forced a field goal attempt that they ended up missing. So BG showing up big. And I tell you, the Eagles defense today, 5 sacks on the day. I think they came into the game with 6 total for the season for 4 games. They got 5 today. So good job there.
Did Brandon Graham get drafted after the 2004 Super Bowl year in the 2005 draft?
No.
Oh, no, it would have been 2009.
Yeah. He was down there near the end of the Andy Reid era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because everybody wanted the safety that went to Seattle.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, came out of Texas.
Not Ed Reed.
No, not Ed Reed. He was a Raven. I forget his name, but somebody will pick it up and put it on the chat. But
yeah,
he played at Texas, and everybody wanted him. And when they took Brandon Graham, it was like, oh my God, there was so much pressure on Brandon Graham, and it took him a few years to really sort of get it going. But man, he has been a really valuable player. Made the huge play in the Super Bowl. Has had a tremendous career as a Philadelphia Eagle, and is one of the nicest dudes too. Like,
yeah, he is.
Talk about a personality. He's got a great personality.
He came in with it.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I remember doing some sort of appearance back in his rookie year, and he came out, I think we were at like a Burlington coat factory or something, and he just came in with this big smile, like, because he went to Michigan, and and Michigan was playing Penn State on the day that we were doing it. So we were talking about that, but just a great guy. And to be here that long, 200 games, congrats to him. You mentioned the sack. Earl Thomas, yes, thank you.
That Seattle took out of Texas, the safety that everybody wanted.
Oh, yeah. For years that was, could have had Earl Thomas. Thomas.
Yep.
Earl Thomas has been retired for about 6 years now, and Brandon Graham's still playing.
Still cooking, man.
That's crazy. And still playing pretty meaningful situations.
Starts.
Yeah.
He's starting to
still effective. I think he just mentioned last week, too, that he might come back for a 16th. I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
But you mentioned the sacks today to be able to get pressure. And Vic Fangio did something today, Harry, he doesn't do. He was using Cooper to blitz.
Right. Cooper DeJean.
To blitz.
Yeah.
And he was really good at it and providing pressure. And, it's a situation where if you can find a particular guy to blitz, it'll open it up for everybody.
Yeah, he ended up with a half a sack. And you know who else had a half a sack? Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
He had a half a sack.
Yeah, I saw that.
How about that?
But this Cooper DeJean's been a hell of a player.
Oh, yeah, he was really good at Iowa. That was a draft pick. When they made that draft pick, I'm like, man, I can't believe that he kind of sort of was still on the board when they selected him, because I kind of thought he'd be gone already. But he was a really nice player at Iowa. So
yeah,
good
Jalen
to see him
Carter
reps. Yep.
Had a sack in this game as well. So did Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith.
Sweat. Yep.
And then you mentioned the half by Cooper, DeJean, and Bryce Huff. So getting the quarterback up, Milton Williams and Booker also combined for sacks, a sack as well. But look, Deshaun Watson, if there's one thing about him, Harry, he is elusive and athletic. Mm-hmm. But they were able to kind of box him in all day and be able to provide pressure.
I mean, late in that fourth quarter, they made the big play to Jerry Jeudy. Mm-hmm. And then they made another play. They swung the ball out to Strong, the running back, and Nakobe Dean missed the tackle, ends up giving this guy a first down, 14-yard play. Then they had that crazy play down near the corner, about inside the 5-yard line, where you thought it might be a pass interference on Ringo, who was in the game because of injury. And Cooper ends up with the face mask. You couldn't see it on the camera, but evidently he grabbed the face mask and kind of pulled his helmet down, and that's why it looked like Ringo was interfering. So they pushed the Browns back, right? Typical Browns. They get 2 false starts, pushing them back even further. I mean, this is the team you're dealing with. They stink, and they end up, having to take a field goal. Like this is what you were up against all day long, and that's why I thought to sort of bring this back around. They needed to pound this team.
Yeah,
they really should have.
They should. That was a team that was inviting you to pound them.
Yeah,
wasn't very good coming in. The Eagles got to tighten it up, frankly. They got the Giants next week.
Yep.
It's on the road. You got everybody saying, well, you throw out the records when it's an NFC. The Giants suck.
Well, they play tonight. I'm interested to watch that game a little bit against Cincinnati, because that's another future opponent right down the
2
road.
weeks.
The Bengals, yeah.
Yep, exactly. They'll be at the Giants, then at the Bengals. But the Eagles, look, I thought this was a building block for 2 reasons. On the offensive side of the ball. Number one, the quarterback did not turn over the ball, and even when things didn't go well, he didn't press and have the urge to put the ball in peril. That's number one.
That's a positive. Yep.
That's something he can build on now moving forward out of the bye. The other one is the return of A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith. Mm-hmm. And if they can get those
and
two.
Lane Johnson. Yeah.
Don't we always gloss over him, but
I know.
Because he's such a catalyst for this team. So if you can have those two, Brown and Smith, Goddard come back and be healthy and effective, and the running game of Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts playing well and not turning the ball over, then you could be a team that looks really good.
Right.
But so they got to use this as a building block to get there, but maybe things are starting to fall into place.
Yeah, and I need a little more focus out of Saquon Barkley on some of these
Got to tighten it up a little bit.
Tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Eagles next week will be in New York to take on the Giants. It's another 1 o'clock game. We'll have the Eagles, Locked On Eagles Postcast right after that game as well, probably around the same time we started this one 30 minutes ago. So we'll be back next week. We'll crank it up once again. Make sure you check out subscribe on YouTube, like it, ring the bell, as they say. That way you get notified when any Locked On Philadelphia Postcast or podcast is happening. And thanks for making Locked On Eagles Postcast your first listen. Now for your second listen, go find the new Locked On NFL. 2 shows every day. First one with Madman Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL Espresso. And then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk. And you can find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Same with the Locked On Eagles Postcast. Everybody, have a great week. We'll talk to you next time on the Locked On Eagles Postcast.